that?
Yeah, that's freaking hilarious. Where are the guns, Nathan? Where are the guns,
So check this out. So I just thought of this, man. This is what we should do. We should get up a GoFundMe. Since make McToon put his money where his mouth is, we're gonna pay for his boat, so he has to go back there without permission. Just get in a boat and just go back without permission, and see if there's no guns. That's what he has to do. Just on his own. Let's see. Put your money where his mouth is. You claim there was no guns because we all know he had permission. That's just like a red herring, right? So let's see. You prove there's no guns. Just freaking, we'll pay for your fucking boat, dude. Just sail back, dude. Go back to the glacier. No permission, or better yet, get a plane. No permission. We don't want you to get permission from anybody for anything. Just go. You know what's going to happen. We all know what's going to happen. We ain't never going to hear from him again.
Just ask Yarrow and Hoy what happened.
That's worth every penny I'm going to donate, too. Never hear from him.
Yeah, I'm sick of all the lying. I mean, it's like you pointed out hundreds of times. It's true. These guys can't stop lying about everything. They lie about our positions. They lie about what we're supposed to think. They lie about their own claims and their own exploits. They lie about it all. Like McToon lies about Antarctica not needing permission. Meanwhile, they're going through one of like the State Department's only designated Antarctic travel agencies to a special Antarctic protection zone that was designated just for this purpose. Like, what the hell are you even talking about? Like, you can go without permission.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like, is there? Like I said, I said this a few months ago. These dudes have been in this freaking topic for half a decade or more, and they can't steel man a single fucking argument. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they can steel man it, but they choose not to, and they just are intentionally straw manning shit for propaganda purposes or whatever.
Yeah, forcing them to create a logical deductive syllogism, I think, is really the right approach to this, because it exposes them every time they want to strawman us with the AE map or Gleason's map, which is what they have to do.
Dude, I do trying to foist saying, isn't this your map? So it's the map that I think Professor Dave uses it. But that map was like a composite CGI NASA globe that NASA took and made into an AE projection, right? So it's not a globe. It's a one of their freaking, I don't know what you call it. It's one of their composite CGI weather maps, right? Where they take a bunch of layers and then they make a globe out of it. Well, they took one of those and they made it into an AE thing. And the dude's trying to foist that shit. I mean, like, dude, like, did you look at the provenance of that? No, like, no one even claims that's a map. Not even the person that made it claims it's a map. But that's my map? Like, why? Why's it got to be my map?
Yeah, and if you don't accept this map, then you're not a real flat earther. Then you're probably a shill or working for the government.
Gotta be. You gotta be working for the government. Wait for my check, man. Like, where's my check? I never get paid. They don't pay very well. They don't pay on time, that's for sure. But McToon, I don't know if you heard me earlier. McToon argued with me. This is probably like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. McToon argued with me for 2 days that the AE map is a globe. I'm X.
Well, he's not wrong.
Argued for days over it. Yeah. Well, yeah. But now the AE map's off. It's not him anymore.
Yeah.
And did you see? I don't know if you've seen that thread, man. That thread is like a train wreck. That freaking pin post I made, man. I don't even think one person has even tried. They just like assert it's impossible, blah blah blah, and freak out, right? So McToon posted, "Flat Earth is dead." So want to know why no response is? I said, "Yeah." I said, "Then, so what's your logical syllogism that proves the globe or flat Earth?" And then I got a screenshot of him saying in Discord, give me proof, asking for proof, pseudoscience. So he's on record saying proof is pseudoscience, just asking for proof.
Oh God,
But he's not.
that's
But now
asinine.
he's saying that just. But he just said he just proves that it just proves flat Earth. So it proves the Earth is not flat, right? That's what you're saying. Yes, but I thought you said proof was pseudoscience. I mean,
Right.
dude, he never
Or
he, ne- he
science
never
can't
replied.
prove things.
He never
Science
replied because
can't
I got a
prove things.
screenshot. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it can't prove things except for the Earth is not flat. Apparently, that's the only thing it can prove.
Yep. You know what I'm noticing too, related to all this? So the AE map is only a flat Earth map if you don't use the non-uniform scale and you apply a uniform scale. Then it's a flat Earth map. But if you apply the non-uniform scale, then it's a globe map that's been flattened out into an AE projection.
That's funny.
It's true. It's true. So they will slap us with the AE map and say that's your flat Earth. And look at how big Australia is. Geez, guys, it's not really that big, is it? And now what they're doing is they're giving us the map and saying don't apply the non-uniform scale to it, Flurf. And then, of course, when they use it properly, they apply the non-uniform scale and it becomes a globe map. It's been flattened out. This tactical back and forth bullshit happens all the time. And I think a lot of flat earthers who don't know any better just kind of get caught up in this. You know, we see them reifying this map all the time without knowing how it was created, without knowing about the non-uniform scale. It's one of the reasons why we don't accept it.
I mean, dude, if there none of the maps that are based on the globe should have a uniform scale. None of them. Right? Because they're projections, right? They should always be distorted as you get away from the center.
Right. Right. And where's the
point,
center?
Right? Yeah, exactly. Where's the center? That's a $20,000 question. Where's the center?
Yeah.
It's just games though with these guys. That's all it is. It's like games. Like that's all they do. I call them out on X, dude. I feel like, look, you guys are only concerned with two things: propaganda and narrative control. You just try to create an image of flat earthers and an image of flat Earth and an image of the topic, and that's all you do. You're not actually arguing about any of the actual substance. You just want to create a perception that it's like signaling, right? They're signaling to the world that flat earthers are crazy, flat earthers are stupid, flat earthers are ignorant, flat earthers lie. So that's McToon's thing. Flat earthers lie, and if they're not lying, whatever they say proves the globe. That's what he has his like 3 laws of work or something. Like, dude, McToon is literally out of his fucking mind, dude. The dude is literally a mental case. Like, bro, I don't think
you're right.
I don't think everybody's like hip to this. Like, that this dude is legit insane.
Yeah, he is.
Like, not like maybe. He's like legit. Dude, I'd like to get like, one of them 200 question personality tests. They get to see if you can work at a bank or not, whether you're fucking nuts. Like, I dare them to take one of those, dude.
His performance the other day on Oakley's was like the Mad Hatter. I mean, he was delirious with excitement and just nuts.
That shit was funny, T-Dub. Fair dinkum.
You mean his hand on his hip yelling at another man, "You're a liar." Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah. Like he'd go to Jerusalem and suffer from that Jesus freaking thing, like where they think that they're Jesus and wander off into the desert and die.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We started GoFundMe for that too.
Enigma.
All right, I gotta go. I'll be listening later. See you guys.
All right, man. Peace. Good talking again.
There's no guns.
No, I just looked at his body language. Like his body language in that video. What man screams at another man, "You're a liar," with his hand on his hip and his elbow, the little teacup shit, right? With his hand sticking out. Like, dude, that shit is suspect to me, man. That makes me like no man does that shit, dude. Like for real.
Oh, mentally ill men do.
India, it's a wonder they haven't started doing memes yet. I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my no gun. Here is my snout. Snow guns.
The reason, see, there's like a biological reason women stand that way. It's like because when women have children, right, they hold the children in a certain way. And this is something you guys might, I don't know if you notice this. Watch how like women hold their cell phone. They hold their phone and they put their arm under their elbow, their off arm under their elbow, like as if they were going to cradle a child. Right, so it's like almost an impulsive posture reflex.
No, dude.
So
women
with the hand on the hip,
women just have bigger hips because they got childbearing hips. So when they rest their hand, they're resting on their hip. It's just biology.
Yeah. So McToon is doing this while he's screaming at another man, "You're a liar," which is like, bro, man, that's like almost like a giveaway. Is McToon Brenda? I mean, like Brenda or something? Like, but in reverse? Like for real, that's like an instinctual thing. Like that's not like something you like. I don't know, man. It was like a big red.
What do you think of Eric Dubay? Do you like that guy?
I don't think Eric Dubay.
No, but
I think he's a professional douchebag. I think he has social problems. I think he's kind of a dick. I don't know. Like everything I hear about people interacting with him, he's a dick. That's all I know.
He's vegan, so he loses a lot of credibility points for me because he's vegan, to be honest.
Oh, he's vegan? That's it. He's absolutely, that's rule him out. Like, no.
Oh my God, he's
vegan,
talking about
that's
NASA,
the last straw.
NASA controllers, NASA top head guys, Vietnam.
No, for me, it is the last straw because veganism.
No, veganism makes people mentally ill because they don't get enough
exactly.
fats.
Thank you. Exactly. So it is the last straw because if you claim to be this conspiracy guy who figures out everything, but also you can't figure out vegan diet is made to destroy you, then that's kind of a red flag, to be honest. But anyway,
I don't even follow any of those guys anymore.
He's got a video which is called the Futility of Flat Earth Debates, and I think he makes good points in that video, especially listening to all of his debates of his past few days.
Yeah, it's easy for him to say he's trying to protect his image because he's never actually debated anybody.
His point is, instead of debating, you should approach it as a conversation. But again, listening to these debates, you can't really have like a conversation about this topic, to be honest, because it's just going to derail all the time.
Doesn't work, dude. It doesn't work. We've had people, okay, that just from my experience, people that have tried to like interview us. People who tried to interview said, "Hey, I don't have nothing to do with this either way," or someone that's like, "I don't care about this and I'm just a moderator." They can't help themselves. They literally will have to interject. They cannot help themselves, dude. And they're not just like pushing back or challenging you. No, they actually start by like instant reflex defending the globe. They can't help themselves. They have to defend it because it's literally part of their identity. So when you start smashing the globe and they're like, "No, the planet orbits the sun. I'm stardust. I was born in a star that was freaking 33 generations old. That's how I got
The Rock's my cousin.
I made my freaking testicles or something." Like
but I was saying this the other day. I completely understand that, to be honest. The
Rock's my cousin. We have the same DNA.
Think about how hard it is not to do that.
I understand what you're saying, but the discussion is a rarity. Like, it can happen, but it's so rare that like it's like looking for a fucking unicorn.
True.
Do you think Eric Dubay just wakes up and knows stuff, or do you think he has to look, observe, and learn just like every other damn human?
Yeah, of course. Right, so discussions are really hard or impossible almost, but do you think debates, like, what do they actually solve? What's the overall impact of debates? How many people get converted? Is there like a percentage? Or how many people change their mind?
So Why I've noticed a lot of your talking points, even yesterday and today, have to do with the effectiveness of the way that we approach this topic. I got to let you know, first and foremost, this is not a place where we're trying to convert people to anything. All we're doing is challenging the globe narrative and presenting information. So, there's people in here that have heard this topic and they've railed against it in 24/7, like for years, and then all of a sudden it clicked one day. So, we're not results based here. We're trying to have conversations with people about something that you can't have a conversation about. And also, you can't have a debate about it because it's not a topic for debate. It's just geometry. It's not that, it's not that complicated. So, we're not going to worry about who takes the information in best. We've tried everything, I promise you. Either people want to hear what's true or they don't. It kind of boils down to that. And they have all kinds of biases and reasons as to why they don't want to hear the information. And that's not our problem. You know what I mean?
So the point is to just like have fun and talk about it. No,
wait a sec, because I'll tell you my experience with debate, right? Because when I got into that, he was one of the first that I looked in, like I watched on YouTube. And he did for me was make me realize that flat Earth wasn't what I thought it was for a start. And he made me realize that there was legitimate arguments for a flat Earth, right? And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then right at the end, when he's like saying, like, sit still for a minute. What does that even mean? Sit still. Do you think you're moving? And blah, blah. And he made me, he gave me that realization of my natural experience of reality, that like I'd just taken it for granted for 45 years that I was moving. I was on this object that is moving. And despite my natural experience telling me that I'm not moving, right? That was an eye opener for me. Even if I hadn't have like looked into it any further, I would have like at least gone away with, hey, I'm on a spinning ball, but I don't experience it. Right? So that was key for me, right? And then but essentially he just encouraged me to research and investigate further and look into this more. Right? It wasn't like a conversion. It wasn't like I watched it and went, holy shit, I'm on a flat Earth. I'm going to believe this guy without further investigation. I'm going to look into what all the things he said during his 2 or 3 hour long video or whatever it was, look for key points and then do some research. It's the veracity of what the content is. That's what you got to look at, right? Don't just take it for face value and say, well, okay, I believe him, or I believe this other dude, or whatever. Like,
Part of our biggest problem is people are, maybe it's not a problem, but they're sort of naturally trusting of people who present themselves as authorities on things, right? So if your entire life, your perceived authority, parents, teachers, governing structures, religious institutions are telling you a certain thing, but you never bothered to challenge what they were telling you, then you're going to go ahead and adopt that particular paradigm. So most of us had that same problem, but when we were presented with other information, right, most everybody goes through like the first 2 stages of grief, which are denial and anger. And that's all we usually get in here all day is denial and anger because nobody ever moves out of that stage. So that's kind of difficult. But some people are actually willing to listen to the other side and at least consider it. We also have a whole group of people that come in and with, just confronted in the face with something that is true and debunks or challenges or removes some of the tenets of their paradigm, and they can't handle it. They prefer that position for whatever reason. And so we just kind of bang up against their anger and denial all day because now it's a choice to deny what is obvious. It's a rough gig.
And they can't handle it. They prefer that position for whatever reason. And so we just kind of bang up against their anger and denial all day. But now it's a choice to deny. What does
It's
that
causing
You're hot,
feedback.
Michael, dude. Well, I mean, also, I would say nobody questions it because, like, as far as like trust, it like the information itself, like, oh, Earth's a globe, it just seems innocuous, right? It doesn't seem like it even means anything. It's like it doesn't matter really in any practical terms, especially to a child, right? It doesn't matter. I'm just a child, like you know. But it's not innocuous, and obviously because of the way people react, if it just didn't mean anything, there wouldn't be people spazzing out in here every day.
I mean, instantly, like before they come in, they're like, "What's this flat Earth? Oh, I'm gonna go in there and give them what for." You know?
I'm going to virtue signal how much I disagree with them and I trust science, and they're a bunch of Luddites. I'm going to go tell them how dumb they are.
It's very much like a cult structure, right? So if people are in a cult, but you have people that want to leave or have left, usually other members of the cult will seek them out and berate them or shame them for leaving and try to give them every excuse to return to the cult. But it's the same rhetoric. So it's now become abuse, trying to abuse people back into the fold. It happens all the time. So it's very cult-like.
Oh yeah, and Candace Owens pointed this out a while back in an interview. She was discussing with the interviewer. She was reading some literature in bed, and her husband was next to her, probably reading some whatever. And he's like turned to her and said, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you reading?" And she's like, "I'm reading about flat Earth." And he instantly spiraled. He said he just started like giving out all the evidences, and then we've got pictures from space, and he was freaking out. Why would you look into that? And she's like, hang on, whoa, I'm not taking a stance here. I'm just finding out what they're saying. Right. And then she went on to explain how like science has become scientism, right? Like what most of the society considers to be science today is actually scientism, right? It's a religion. They don't know much about it. They just know that somebody out there said, scientists said so, or something like that, right? And then they just take it for granted that it's true.
You know what that reminds me of? I used to live down south, and like back then, a lot of people were crazy, like fundamentalist Southern Baptists. So everything was devil worship, right? You listen to Ozzy Osbourne, devil worship, right? Kids, like if your parents, not my parents, but other kids' parents, they found out you listen to Ozzy Osbourne or like Black Sabbath or something, they'd react that same way, right? Like, you're playing with Ouija boards, you're dabbling in witchcraft, you're freaking doing this. Like, it's the same reaction, right? Like, flat Earth to a scientism believer is like to a Christian, it's like dabbling in witchcraft or something. It like has the same. It's like they're making moral judgments, right? They're not actually. It isn't like that's wrong from like a logical, objective viewpoint, right? Hey, what you believe is wrong. They're wrong doesn't mean factually wrong. They're wrong means morally wrong, and they don't realize that that is how they look at it, as if flat Earth versus globe Earth is a morality test, which is fucking weird, dude. You gotta admit that's just weird.
Yeah, and you've got guys like Danny Faulkner that are putting forth essentially that exact rhetoric, right? Which now, if you believe in flat Earth, you are essentially a Bible denier and are immoral. It's what he's been telling his flock, right? So, same thing.
So do you guys believe in the Bible?
Yeah,
In the
but I
Bible.
don't use it to
It
defend.
exists.
Hmm?
I believe the Bible exists. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I clarified in the Bible story.
Right.
Well, I mean, it'll be a cold day in hell before an atheist materialist judges me morally. They don't even believe in fucking morals. They can't even justify any moral belief at all. And they're going to make moral judgments? Please.
Wait, what's that got to do with anything? I'm asking if you believe in the Bible story.
What's evoluted logic come from? What is that?
Yeah, we evolved to do logic, right? Is that what it is? Like it's just
Wait,
like
you're
some
misunderstanding.
freaking.
It's not about creationism versus evolution. You can have creationism and the Bible can still be mostly lies or whatever. There can still be a God, just not a God in the Bible. It's not about evolution versus God.
Yeah, but you can't. Atheism can't justify transcendental categories.
Listen, you don't need to be an atheist. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You can still believe in a God.
Consciousness is a mystery.
But listen, you can think the Bible is a made up lie, just like the globe is, and still believe in a God. There is still an Earth, but it's not a globe. There's still a God, but it's not
Yeah,
a Bible.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, of course.
But anyway, I guess this
Flat
isn't
Earth,
that's not a
Flat Earth
discussion
isn't like
for.
a biblical. Flat Earth isn't based upon the Bible.
No,
Nearly
of
every
course.
culture, including the Chinese, thought the Earth was flat. And they were Confucian, they were Taoist, they were Buddhists, they were, Hindus. They're all flat earthers.
It's really hard to
Some
It's a
understand
mix.
history anyway because history is so distorted. It's so hard to actually
True.
know what went on. To be honest.
It's a mixed
We have
bag
a pretty
here.
good idea after the 1600s of what happened. Before that is a little sketchy.
Yep.
I mean, but I say even that even loosely because we watch them change history in real time now,
Mm-hmm.
right? We watch them erase countries, erase existences, erase history in real time now.
Or stuff like COVID, like in 100 years, people might not know people are even questioning COVID. It might just remain in history, like just a
Could have been the
Well,
pandemic. A
not.
lot
Black
of people
Plague.
died.
Well,
Yeah, it
look
could
at
have
the
been the Black Plague, though.
Israel-Palestine conflict as an example, right? They've tried to rewrite history, try and say, "Oh, there was never a place called Palestine," even though there's maps that say Palestine. There's passports that still exist that have that they're Palestinian nationals, right? But the Israel's like, "Oh, there was never a place called Palestine. There was never a Palestinian people in the first place." They've like, and I'm just using that as an example. I'm not trying to pick on the Israelis or anybody because Ukraine, Syria, all these places where they have a significant social change, they try to rewrite the past as if it never happened and try to create a new narrative of their history.
I thought this was a flat Earth channel.
It is.
Yeah, that's why I said 2 minutes ago. I corrected myself. I said I don't think this is a discussion I should bring up here anyway about the Bible and stuff. It's okay.
Well, I mean, history is part of this topic. There's no denying it.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
It can
how many
definitely help
times
you
have I
understand
heard?
something.
They proved it 2,000 years ago that the Earth's a globe. As if there was somebody who was like, "Look, I fucking stuck two sticks in the ground," and the whole world was like, "Ooh, Earth's a globe."
But
That's
they're
not
paying,
how it happened.
but they're paying $500,000 in 2024 to go make sure. You know what I mean?
They did double check, man. They did
They
quadruple
just want
check.
to. Yeah, they don't want to double, triple check. They just want to triple, double, quadruple. Make sure. You know what I mean? Because they knew it, but they just want to make sure. You know what I'm saying?
Who here believes the Earth is flat?
No one. There's no believers here,
Good.
dude. There's only globe
Good.
believers. There's no flat Earth believers. Flat Earth knowers.
Right. It's not a globe religion channel. It's to prove your globe religion isn't a religion. This is the not belief. Prove your physical claim.
Okay, so check this out, dude. So if I leave my house, I walk about a mile, I get to the ocean, and it looks flat. Is that a belief?
Wait, say that again.
If I leave, I was talking to the other dude that asked if there's any flat Earth believers in here.
Yeah, but I just
Okay,
wanted
well,
to think
no,
about it
we're
for a
sorry.
second. I
No.
didn't hear it.
Oh, I said if I leave my house, walk down a mile to the ocean, which is about a mile from my house, and it looks flat, is that a belief? Do I believe it looks flat? Or do I know it looks
No,
flat?
you know it looks flat. If you say that it's flat, you know it looks flat. Yeah.
Yeah. If I said, oh, that's an optical illusion, it's just a ball too big to see, that would be a belief.
Okay, so I have 5 things that you would have
Ooh,
to,
5.
and not you, anybody that believes 5 things that a flat earther would have to
I
explain.
already demonstrated it's not a belief, right?
Okay, no, you would have to demonstrate.
No, you
You would
need to
have to debunk
demonstrate.
these 5
No,
points.
you
Then.
need to you need to demonstrate the Earth looking flat is an optical illusion. That's what you need to demonstrate.
Well, hold up. You're telling me that you know the Earth is flat. Okay,
Yes.
cool. So then,
From
if you
observation.
know, then you wouldn't have any problem debunking these things.
Probably not, but that's what you just said. Whether I can debunk them or not, I can still know the Earth is flat, independent of debunking those things. My understanding
Okay, but
or
if
not knowing something or my ignorance about something doesn't mean what I think is wrong. That is a logical fallacy. That would be an appeal to ignorance.
Okay, I'm just asking you.
Okay, so let me debunk your 5 things.
No,
Since you
not
want to
even
get it off
believe.
your
You
chest.
know the Earth is flat. Okay, you would have to debunk to everybody that doesn't believe the Earth is flat. You would have to debunk ships disappearing over the horizon. You would have to
That's
debunk
not happening.
different visible stars depending on location. You would have to debunk lunar eclipse, time zone differences, and gravity and the Earth's center of mass.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay.
Those are
First of all,
5 things you would have to.
Partying like it's 1899.
Wasn't that? Hold on. Wasn't that 6 things?
Yeah, it was 6 things.
Yeah, read the last one.
Sorry, 6.
7. Yeah, read the last one. Since you're on 7 ways you know the Earth is round, just read the last one too. Might as well get the 7th out.
No, I'm not. I'm driving, sir. I'm not even on my phone.
Weird.
I'm driving.
Yeah.
sir.
So the first one.
You
do
have
you
to
want to go through them one by one?
ships
Do
disappearing.
you want to go through? Do you want to go through them one by one or not?
Let's do the horizon.
Ships over the horizon.
Yeah, the horizon. You would have to explain.
Okay.
Yeah, Ships Over Horizon was debunked 128 years ago by a Nobel-winning prize physicist.
Where's the proof? Where's the proof?
Go read physics.
That's not a source, bro. Telling me to go. Why can you put it on the chat?
So hold on. Where's your proof ships disappear over the horizon?
Dude.
Yeah,
Have you ever been at sea?
Yes. I live 1 mile from the ocean.
Okay, so
I've never
then
seen that.
if you see a ship,
Yeah, dude, I went out and observed ships sail away, and they don't disappear over the horizon. Now what? I watched the ship sail out to sea. It's not a fallacy. I got pictures. I watched a ship sail away 30. Listen, I watched a ship sail away to 30 miles from 15 feet above sea level. The horizon should be 4.8 miles away. Okay, so the ship never disappeared over the horizon. I never lost visual of it. I got bored from watching it after 3.5 hours.
Okay,
tell
so
me,
what about different time
what's your
zones? What
evidence
about
ships
different
go over
time
the
zones?
horizon? Because I have no knowledge of such a thing. Do you? Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I've
And
seen it by myself. I've seen
where
it
were you? Where were you?
literally on my boat, or sorry, on a fucking cruise ship, and I saw another
Yeah,
boat disappear into the horizon.
yeah. So, what cruise
So
ship? Where were you? What ocean was it?
the North Atlantic Ocean.
The North Atlantic. You sure about that?
Positive.
How far away was the other boat?
I would probably say like, I don't know, 15, 16 miles.
Oops.
God.
What do you think the horizon is, dude? It's a question there.
So let me ask you. Hold on, before we get to he hasn't. So listen, if I could demonstrate a so-called boat going over the horizon on a surface we know is flat, right, and disappear bottom up the same way you think it happens on a globe, but I demonstrate it on a flat surface, what would that mean?
I don't know, sir. What would that mean?
It would mean that
There's
your idea that this visual, right, of seeing a ship disappear bottom up, and that can only happen on a globe, that would be incorrect.
Okay, so can you then explain the different time zones if the Earth is
Time
flat?
zones are man-made. Time zones are man-made political. You actually need to explain time zones now.
Wait,
You know why you need to
Indio.
explain time zones? Listen, you know why
Before
you need to explain time zones? Because there's 19 time zones in the north, 24 in the center, and 32 in the south. So how do you explain that?
I'm
There
sorry.
should be
Can
24
you,
time
can
zones
you say
around
it
the
again?
whole world. There's 19 time zones in the north, right? There's 24 in the center, like where you think the equator is, and there's 32 in the south. There should be 24 everywhere. So how do
You're on a
you
roll.
explain time zones?
You're on a roll, Sensei. That's your ships over the horizon debunked. Time zones debunked. Next.
Number
Time
3.
zones don't really make a
British
difference.
guy, shut your ass up.
I think you got to go back to the boats going over the horizon.
No, he thought he was on to something, dude. Let's just keep this going. Eclipses. Which eclipse? Solar? Lunar? Which one proves it?
Stellanilian.
He dropped?
Yup.
Oh, damn.
Wow, we didn't even get through his 5, 6, or 7, whichever one can count.
What was his name? Sensei?
Sensational Sensei.
Uh-huh.
Oh, dude.
And I've
He's,
been upgraded, everyone. I'm now British. So thank you very much. I'm out of here.
Jog on, mate.
Oh, no, that's funny.
yeah, nobody go to his dojo to learn anything.
No, he's gonna go back to another information dojo, and he's gonna be like, "You man, you made me get laughed at. Why'd you tell me this? You stupid mophead." He must have been talking to Professor Dave. I think it's weird these dudes set them all up for failure. They're like, "We know this. We know this. We know
I got a
this."
question. Did Professor Dave go on that final experiment thing?
Nope.
No, he didn't, no.
Well, he was listed on the website as going.
Was
What?
he? Yeah,
So
he
was
didn't go.
Wolfie 6020. So was Wolfie 6020. So was a bunch of Globers. But from the photo I saw, it looked like 3 flat earthers and 1, 2, 3, 5 Globers. But that's not the way his scoreboard had it. His scoreboard had something like 7 Globers and 2 flat earthers.
Maybe they pulled
I
out
don't know.
when they
I'm
heard
gonna
the
check. I'm
McToon
gonna
was
have to check
going.
the freaking record, man.
They might have took it separate.
There were some extra people who went, I think, that paid for themselves. That was my understanding.
Yeah, so you never really know, actually.
Maybe they heard the McToon was going, and that's too much even for Professor Dave.
Fucking thing.
Oh God.
His
Dude.
little meltdown was the best
Imagine
thing
if
to come
Witch
out of
had
that
to
whole
put
thing.
up with all of that. Bro, man.
FTFE. Oh
You
my
see in the
god.
video,
He'd be like, "Where's the crevasse on this glacier? Because I'm gonna jump in it."
oh man, you see in that video where McToon's ranting away, Witzer just like walks in the room and he obviously looks at McToon yelling into his phone, and he's like, "For fuck's sake, even out here, you can't give it a rest."
Funny.
Yeah.
I've got a
He
question.
said it sucked. By the way, he said it was absolutely fucking horrible. Just because it, like, you got to think about what they're doing, right? They're freaking in a bunch of tents on a fucking glacier. It's fucking
Yes.
bright as fuck out. You have no idea what time it is. It's freezing fucking cold, pouring as fuck. Nothing to do. Like, dude,
Yeah, it must have
cold,
been
dry, fucking air staying. You're at high altitude. Like, what the fuck? How bad is that stuff?
Yeah, it sounds awful to be fair.
Who had a
Poor
question?
Witsit, man. So some guy had a question?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw, but about an hour ago, Dave
Yeah.
McKicken posted on YouTube the full journey from Chile to Antarctica, like on a plane. There's footage, like 360 footage. It's pretty cool, to be honest. I mean, it's not actually it's just a bunch of fucking snow and shit. You can't really see anything.
Well, what conclusion can we draw from the footage?
Confusion.
I don't know, dude.
The
Conclusion of confusion.
And then what was the point? What's the point of doing anything then? Oh, sorry.
Because you were talking about them being in Antarctica, so I just said they posted footage of their journey from their plane journey, where you can actually see the whole, well, not the whole continent I was gonna say, but the thing that you can see out of the plane, because there's some stuff that they were saying in regards to how dangerous it looks and how it couldn't be explored independently anyway. But when you look out of the window on a plane, it's just a bunch of snow and shit. So just literally nothingness.
We had an individual that had a question real quick. So Hawaii, if you could hold up, go ahead, whoever that was.
Okay.
Yeah, so the other guy, there was the guy here before talking about boats going over the horizon, and Indio is saying if I could show how that's possible over a surface we know is flat, what would you make? How would that change the way you think about that? And it makes me feel like I notice a bit of an asymmetry when people here are evaluating evidence. Because when
Alexa, volume
they're faced
3.
with when they're faced with a someone who believes in a globe saying that pictures where you see too far are possible over a surface that's curved, that's treated like it's just an excuse. So what do you have to say about that?
I don't know how demonstrating it on a flat surface has to do with seeing too far. What's that got to do with anything?
Yeah, that sounds like a reach, bro.
I don't see how those two things are connected, man.
Yeah, I don't see the analogy really. It's a bit of a stretch.
What I mean is pictures where you see too far are treated as proofs that the Earth is flat, but we know that this is possible over a curved surface.
Really?
No, you don't know that.
How do we know it's possible?
This is literally what I was talking about before. See, my exact point that I was making before. Carry on.
Yeah, but like I'm gonna make I'm gonna do what I said. Like you said, you know it's possible. Okay, show us the evidence. Yeah, show us the evidence, dude. Show us the data, the evidence. I don't want to see a model. I want to see some empirical data that demonstrates that you can curve right over a curve and you can see shit in a condition that is analogous to the Earth.
Well, I mean, you could just say it's not analogous, but we know that we can.
Yeah, well, then
make observations.
If you can demonstrate it with,
well, you're gonna. I'm saying they are analogous. You're gonna say they're not. But I just.
I know. Why would I say they're not?
I guess it was just a guess. I'm sorry.
We could go from another angle. Everyone in here is going to say they're not. That's why you need to bring your evidence.
Yeah, so
we can
bring the evidence and we can
when light moves through. We can see when light moves through a medium, which is has a layer a more dense layer under a less dense layer. We know
Are you talking about sugar water, homie?
curves.
I was going to
What?
say, wait for the laser in the sugar water for it.
Yeah.
Are you talking about
I
refraction?
mean, that's a
bro?
good example. Yeah.
Mine's
This is
Horrible
a very
example.
fancy way of saying refraction.
It's a horrible
Well, yeah,
example.
refraction. Yeah.
So why do you have to
Horrible
say
example.
density, light, this, that?
See, but you're not just claiming refraction, though. This is the problem with the globe side. You're not just claiming refraction. You're specifically claiming that we can make objects that are obscured physically by an obstruction appear in front of that obstruction and have the obstruction appear behind the thing it's supposed to be obstructing. That's not just refraction.
Yeah.
That's make-believe.
Yeah.
Right, so what's your evidence for that?
David Copperfield.
Well, you can do.
that's
I mean,
what
you
you
can
get
do that with
for.
the sugar water.
There
No,
is.
That's not what you're doing.
But
Okay,
you can put
so
something in
someone-
front
but
of
listen.
something in sugar water, and you can see behind it.
You're not making stuff go over hills with sugar water. Shut up.
Really? Can you show it? Can you show us
You're
that?
not answering.
Do you have a video? Do you have a video that demonstrates that? Because
I could
the videos
find one.
I've
I don't
seen-
have permissions. But
No, you won't be able to find one. Okay, so there is one demonstration where someone takes the camera, looks through the sugar water, and everything gets pushed down, not up.
What do you mean?
So Action Labs, it's one of the little science YouTube channels. The guy's not a flat earther, he's a glober. He did a little sugar water test, took a camera, put it at the end of the tank, right? And filmed, and the gap, right? So when he lowers the camera, the gap, so he has like a little cloud thing pasted on it, it gets lower, not higher.
I don't know
And
anything about
that's
that video.
I know. Well, what about the evidence you do have?
I could find it, but I don't have.
So you don't know what it is yet. So you don't know what it is yet.
Somebody's
You
offering
just
to
think it exists
post it if I DM them.
So you think it exists out? Hold on a second. So you think out there somewhere you can find it? It must exist somehow, but you already believe it. You already believe it. But you just have to find it and verify what you already believe.
I've already seen it.
Do you have the evidence now?
I just need to find it. I don't have the link like in a folder. I
Yeah, and I don't want it. But we don't want it. But we don't want a side view of a laser because sugar's a dichiral molecule, so that isn't a freaking analogous test. Because the dextrorotary, you know what that is? Sugar is dextrorotary. It rotates the phase of the wave. It's going to curve no matter what, dude. Yeah, sugar is a dextrorotary molecule. It rotates light.
What does that have
to do? Magnetic, it'll bring the light down with it. It'll actually reflect the light into the fucking shit that's dropping in an arc pattern, and it'll follow the pattern of the arc of the fucking sugar itself. That's what it's doing. Each piece of sugar is going to act like a mirror and a piece of glass to the other piece of sugar, and it's going to go through each one and carry out. Same way if you have a 2 liter of clear liquid and you shine a light that's wider than the whole fucking bottle of liquid onto the bottle, the liquid that pours out is going to appear that color and appear like the light is bending, but it's not. The liquid is bending and the light's just shining over all the source of it. That's it. The light's not bending like that.
Bear in mind, your claim is that this is occurring in air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've given us an example of sugar water. Give us an example in air.
I mean,
to me, we're looking through, right?
To do it in air, you need a larger scale.
Has to be analogous to the Earth. The optics.
So you're just begging the question, then.
You're doing the sugar one in a small scale.
No, I don't.
You're doing the sugar one in a small aquarium scale. Do the other one in an air amount the same, groupie.
Hold on. I interrupted Jedi. Let Jedi go.
No, it's fine. You just have to point out that it has to be analogous to the thing that we're viewing. So not a laser through sugar water, for example, because we're not looking through sugar water.
Problem with the sugar again?
We're not breathing sugar water. It has to be analogous to the Earth.
But why is it not analogous? That's the question. I know it's not the same thing.
Okay, you want a whole bunch of reasons? I'll give you a bunch of reasons. The laser's outside the tank, and it actually goes through freaking 3 mediums. Goes through the air, the glass, and then the sugar water. Okay? Sugar itself is dextrorotary, so it isn't like the air. Air is not dextrorotary, so it doesn't change the phase of the wave. Also, the bottom of the sugar tank is flat. It's not curved, but you need a curved gradient, freaking not a flat gradient. So there's 3 reasons.
There you go. Pretty succinct.
How does the fact that it's dextrorotary the light?
Textural rotary rotates the wave, so there's something called angular momentum. The wave actually has a momentum. So as it goes through this medium, it will keep corkscrewing. And as it corkscrews, it'll corkscrew in a direction, right? So it'll have more momentum going down than top because part of the top part of the circular polarization is in a medium with greater refractive index than the top part. So it corkscrews down. But the other two reasons are good enough anyway. But the point is, we still want it in air, right? So here's the funny thing, is that they've tested this in the real world, right? How much refraction there is, and it doesn't exist the way you think it exists, in the quantity you think it exists. That's why I ask you guys all the time. Well, two frequency LiDAR. That's one way. Another way was the multi-wavelength laser experiment across the Hawaiian Islands.
I'm going to say it sounds like you're just kind of begging the question because you've said you would need a scale so large. So I assume what you're basically saying is your evidence in air is the observation that's on the face of it debunking this curvature, but you've just decided it's now proof of this kind of refraction that you can't evidence in any other way other than doing something that's not analogous, like a laser in sugar water. So that'd be begging the question if you're just going to look at the black swan and say, there it is.
I mean, the varying densities that it changes. But anyway, I wanted to ask India, what can you link me those tests?
Yeah, I'll post them in the chat. Just give me a minute.
He's going to show us sugar water rainbow boats. He's going to put boats in sugar water and put sugar water in front of a boat, and it's going to go around the hill. Or his neighbor's backyard. He just puts a sugar water aquarium above their fence, their privacy fence, and he can see all they got in their backyard. He's so awesome. Can't wait to see that demo.
So let me ask this dude a question real quick. Do you know what dispersion is? Dispersion of light. Do you know what that is? Dispersion. When you shine light through a prism, it makes a rainbow.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's called dispersion because the light disperses, right? So the light goes in as a beam, right, and then it gets spread out at the other side. There's a rainbow. Red's on one side, blue's on the other.
Mm-hmm.
Why? You know why that happens?
Yeah.
Because refraction is wavelength dependent. Each wavelength will take a different path. Why don't we observe this if the refraction is happening? We observe it in cameras. We have to design them to negate this effect. Otherwise, you'll get something called chromatic aberration.
You still there?
Yeah. You hear me?
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit.
I think it's your connection because he sounds okay.
Yeah, I think it's him. Because he was cutting out for me too. So
I posted the
I'll just post the things in the chat.
Yeah, I posted the Hawaiian Islands one.
Well, we see lots of situations where light where we don't see this. Like, I mean, camera lenses. We don't see this.
We design them. You do see it in camera lenses.
I mean, you see chromatic aberration, but
if they're poorly designed, yeah. They actually make dispersion correctors for telescopes because they'll look at stars and the star will be red on top or blue on top and red on the bottom, right? So they actually make a device that will merge the image. Why don't we have to do this when we make a 300-mile observation from Canada across from the Pyrenees to the Alps? Why aren't the mountains, blue on top and red on the bottom? If they're being refracted frickin' 4 miles up over the horizon. Because you guys,
I don't know the math of refraction to answer that question, but
you just know it.
I don't see any reason why it would.
I just told you the reason. You can't have dispersion without refraction. It's impossible. They are required things. They go together. And if you want the physics term, it's called the Kramer-Kronig's relation.
All right. I'll have to look into that. Do you have were the tests posted in the chat somewhere?
I think Jedi just did it.
Yeah, it's a long one. It's a couple of minutes ago, mate. Just scroll up to my name, Jedi. It's the Hawaiian Islands test. It's about 149 kilometers or something.
All right.
Now, that test should have failed if there was refraction. It would have never happened.
Why is that?
And the reason, because they use 3 different wavelength lasers, right? All at the same starting place. Now, each laser should have took a different path across the 149 kilometers, right? And they should have been separated by 20 meters, right? So the highest laser would have been 20 meters from the lowest laser. Well, the telescope's only 3.4 meters wide. And they picked all 3 lasers up in the telescope simultaneously and measured them. So just like if you had a 10-foot stick and a 3-foot wide door, and you take the stick sideways, you can't get the stick through the door, right? Without breaking it. Well, they got the stick through the door because the door was, because the stick wasn't 10 feet wide. It was 3 feet wide. And I'll post the prediction, and which uses the U.S. Standard Atmosphere model and the globe and all that crap.
You understand why we're using 3 different different wavelengths of light refract differently? Visible spectrum, ultraviolet, and infrared all refract slightly differently.
Sure.
But they didn't. That's what Indio's pointing out. Shouldn't have happened if the surface of the Earth was curved. We shouldn't have a direct line of sight to the target in the first place. But we do. All 3 lasers hit the target in varying wavelengths.
I don't know I don't know enough about refraction to answer that, but
then why did you say we could see too far because of it if you don't know anything about it?
Actually, Indio, if you look up that stupid flatearth.ws site, they openly tell everyone in that refraction causes us to see too far.
Oh, they say all sorts of things on that site.
It's a great training site for flat earthers. I love it.
I call it flatearth.bs, man.
Yep.
This is the same thing I did when I first came here. I was like, refraction, and then I realized I don't know shit about refraction. I have no idea what the fuck that is. The same thing happened to me.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, then why would you think it's a valid explanation?
Because you don't think. You don't think about it.
Because at that point,
just admit it's an internal bias. You want it to be that.
Yeah,
I mean,
you want it to be that, and also
have a complete understanding of everything that you.
It's like an instinct, not like an instinct, like a reaction that you just have naturally. Just refraction, because it's like implanted in your brain. That's what it's supposed to say.
It's because they're looking for any excuse or reason that this could possibly occur on a ball, no matter how outlandish and unfounded in evidence. If it's offered to them, they're just going to take it. But yeah, it's like an emotional grabbing at a branch as you're jumping from tree to tree. It's not like a well-reasoned response.
It's like giving too many choices to a little kid. You give them 87 choices, they're going to pick 90 of them.
Yeah, well, Brenda the other day, reaffirmed it. I've got Goldberg to say this dozens of times, that if the conditions were right, refraction would let you see your own ass with a telescope.
Oh my God!
Right? The light would go all the way around the globe. You could see your own ass with a telescope and see that you missed a spot.
That's funny.
I even read it in the school book. It's even in school books, dude. It's fucking crazy.
So what do you say about ships going over the horizon? What are you about to go into there?
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen like you think it happens.
Don't say it doesn't happen. We know it happens. I'm just asking for an explanation for why it happens.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's an explanation. You want a scientific explanation or a story?
What did you say?
You want a scientific explanation or a story?
I'm not. I don't understand the question.
Any because an explanation isn't necessarily a scientific explanation.
Okay.
Okay, so ships over the horizon, I would say, is rarely observed. I've never seen it, and I go by the ocean. I've watched the ship, like I told the other guy. I've watched a ship. So there's an app called marinetraffic.com. You can see the position of ships. I watched the ship sail from 6 miles away from me to 30 miles away. Now the horizon from my height is supposed to be 4 miles away. So the ship sort of started disappearing as soon as I spotted it. And then by the time it reached 30 miles, it should have been completely gone, should have been 420 feet under the horizon. So that's like a 42-story building, right? But it never disappeared, ever. Now you could say, oh, refraction makes that possible. Fine. How often, if refraction lets us see the ship, well, how often do we not see the ship disappear? Or if refraction lets you see a ship not disappear over the horizon, that means ships over the horizon isn't observed every time. Well, how often is it observed? If I go make 100 observations of ships, how often will it go over the horizon?
How is that relevant?
What do you mean?
Because you're claiming, because you think it's Earth curve.
Yeah, that's the issue. That's the mental blockage that he's having. That when he says ships going over the horizon, he thinks they're going behind the curvature, but that's not happening.
Yeah, it's more correctly to phrase it like the ship appears to sink into the horizon when it does, which, like Indio was saying, isn't what happens every time. But because we can check the distance of this object, we can compare it to what the globe model claims in terms of when it should go over a curve if there was one, and it's not. So it's an optical
that's
effect.
assuming refraction doesn't work. But
what's refraction
anyway,
again? Sorry, what? Didn't know anything about that's refraction again.
Yeah, well, either way, you say refraction.
Explained what it was. Anyway,
you're just.
anyway,
But then
I
we're
was
left
talking
with
about
the
ships
horizon.
going over the horizon because it doesn't really matter how often it happens. If it even happened once, you'd have to.
What's the horizon?
By your logic, we can just say refraction, and we don't have to deal with any Earth curve. Refraction can do whatever it wants to do.
We're not going by my logic. You're saying fraction's not possible.
No, well, we didn't say refraction is not possible, but we were talking about a specific claim with regards to observations and seeing too far, and the response of refraction, that's unfounded, but obviously refraction in general does exist. But you're asking about the horizon, you're even describing it optically. If it's refracted, so it's moving around, then it's not a geometric thing.
I mean, I'm not. I'm hearing like a restatement of the problem. I'm not hearing an answer.
What is the horizon to you?
I don't think that. I mean, it's where the ground meets the sky. It's not really.
Ships over the horizon is an optical effect. It's not geometric Earth curve.
It's what was that? Did you say it was an optical effect?
Yes, it's an optical effect, and we can demonstrate that it's an optical effect because we can demonstrate that this happens on a flat surface, on a known flat surface. 100%, it has to be flat, right? So what we do, we make a setup so that Earth curve is eliminated as a variable, and then see if we can replicate the optical effect. We can. So that means if you see a ship go over the horizon, right, disappear bottom up and then top, right, we know that that's not exclusive to a ball. That it would happen on a flat surface.
How has that been done?
On a 1,000-foot lake. It's also been done by National Geographic.
1,000-foot lake?
1,000-foot lake, yeah. Yeah, so a 1,000-foot lake, there should be no horizon at all. Because, like, even if you're like 1.5 inches off the surface of the lake, the horizon should be 2,400 feet away. At 2 inches, it would be 2,600 feet away. So if the lake's 1,000 feet long, whatever's in the lake can't reach the horizon. There should be no horizon at all. Right? The globe predicts horizon 2,600 feet away. The lake is 1,000 feet long. It's shorter than the horizon distance. So there should never be a horizon on this lake at all. But we can demonstrate.
And the ship disappears over the horizon?
There's no
Yeah,
horizon.
so like not only has a horizon, well, they use a little RC boat, right? Because it's a fucking 1,000-foot lake. What kind of ship are you going to fit on that? Your ship's longer than 1,000 feet. I don't know if anybody posted in the chat. I'll post in the chat. So we can demonstrate it. It also, Sky Free's the YouTube channel.
Oh, fine.
Yeah, so National Geographic also showed this disappearance bottom up thing. So what they did, there's a video they made called Flat Earth versus Globe Earth, right? And they did a test where they took a flag, they put it on a freaking boat, and they sailed it across the Salton Sea, and one by one, the stripes on the bottom of the flag disappear. And they're like, that's Earth curve. That can only be happening because of the curve of the Earth. Well, they didn't pay very close attention because the horizon's behind the flag. So what are the stripes disappearing behind if the horizon's behind the flag?
I have to see the video.
Here, I post a video in a screenshot, right? So the point is that this observation is not only not exclusive to a globe. I mean, that is the point. It's not exclusive to a globe. We can demonstrate it's not even evidence of a globe. The globe doesn't even say you can even see the geometric horizon ever. So that fact alone, that there's only an optical apparent horizon, means that whenever you see a sunset, boat disappear, any of that shit, it's completely optical, according to the globe model itself. Especially if you're saving refraction, right? So everything out there is an optical illusion, according to them.
Wait, you shouldn't see not a geometric horizon? Why is that?
Because of refraction.
Why would that follow?
Because it would move the horizon, according to the globe.
I mean, it would, but not
That's our question. That's our question that they can't answer.
It's not. It's
well,
not
they're basically saying it
the
can be
horizon infinitely.
We try and ask them, like, what's the maximum distance it can stretch this geometric globe horizon, and they say there's no limit.
I mean, there's no strict limit, but that's not usually what happens.
So you've just said what you were like. How they can't say that. You just said they can't say there's no limit, and then said, well, yeah, there's no limit, but. See, this is the thing. They just try and make it unfalsifiable because all the observations falsify it, so that's their only option. Make it unfalsifiable.
That's not. I didn't say there was a limit. I said I said it doesn't go infinitely, which is what.
So what's the limit?
It doesn't go infinite.
So what's the limit?
I don't know what the limit is. I don't think there is a limit.
So how can you say what it is or isn't?
I don't think there is a limit, but there isn't a limit. What?
If you don't know what it is,
it's
or
not
if
a
there is
contradiction.
one, how can you say what it is or isn't? And where did you get this idea from? What paper are you basing this on?
I don't think this is relevant. I didn't make a claim about whether or not
it's the only thing that's holding you onto this globe, surely. I mean,
well, you said it contradicted the globe. the fact that there is a horizon, and I'm saying that doesn't follow. That was my only claim. Because there's nobody says that refraction's always going to let you see infinitely.
Yeah, that's what the Globers are now claiming because we are seeing constantly too far.
No, they're not. Nobody's claimed that. Nobody claimed that.
Yeah,
That's exactly what they're claiming. That's what they're claiming every time. What are you talking about?
Dude,
No, they're
Brenda
not.
literally said it. No, Brenda said this in this VC 3 days ago to me. Okay, you don't know what you're talking about. They say it all the time, dude. Say you can see your own ass with a telescope under the right
Okay, I mean, under the right
I know it
conditions.
sounds unreasonable. And
They've
You
been saying
think
this
that's
since the
true?
1800s.
Are
Since
you back-
Gauss
are you
went all
I mean,
over
I don't
Europe.
think, practically speaking, I think practically speaking, the atmosphere would disperse the light too much, would scatter the light too much for that to be possible. But if that weren't the case, then I mean, setting that aside, it would be possible in theory.
Early surveyors were seeing too far. Like when Gauss went over Europe to survey lighthouses and these things, he kept noticing he could see too far for the curvature of the Earth. And so he said, well, we'll just make Earth flatter by about 13%. And that explains why I can see too far. And then as optics developed even further, they started flattening out the Earth even more. 16%. Now it's like 21% in some places.
Okay.
Very flat ball.
Why do you think we can't see the bottom of the boat?
Why do I think we can't see the bottom of the boat?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the situation.
Okay. Go within a globe
sometimes-
situation.
Well, I mean,
Depends on who's asking.
Sometimes it's because it goes over the curvature of the Earth, and sometimes I think refraction is at play.
How do you
mean
tell
it
the
goes below
difference?
the curvature, but yeah.
How do you tell the
What was
difference between the two? How do you tell the difference? Yeah.
I mean, if it's curvature of the Earth, it must be at 1.225 multiplied by the square root of the observer's height in feet. It's a 6-foot observer at the beach, 2.8 miles away. Right, that's where the geometric horizon should be. Right, if you're saying that it's the curvature of the Earth that's in the way. But that's something that we never observe. We never observe the horizon at 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet unless it's really shitty weather conditions. Brings the horizon closer, you can't see as far, right, if it's shitty weather out.
Well,
But
I
to
mean,
make
that's
that-
begging the question.
Sorry, what's begging the question?
If I'm understanding you right, you said in shitty weather conditions we can't see as far.
Yeah,
Are
like
you saying
fog.
like fog? Okay.
Yeah, shitty weather conditions, like fog, you can't see as far, right? But we
We're
never
talking
see
about matching the predicted horizon. That's what Jedi's talking about. That there's a predicted horizon difference.
What makes you say
The
that that's
only
the
time it
predicted
matches
horizon?
is when you can't see far enough to see a horizon farther. Fog, snow, freaking wind, rain, because it's always too far. Always. Every fucking time.
It's the same reason you can't shoot a laser across a large body of water. There's too much fog.
And if you're asking where are we getting this geometric horizon from, that would be this globe model that you.
Yeah, that's kind of a silly question. On a globe
You're
model, that's not a
assuming-
measurement. You obviously have a predicted horizon, physical horizon.
Definitely talking then.
What was that? Was somebody else saying something?
So, well,
Yeah, I was saying that's kind of a silly question.
I was still wondering.
Let's all talk at
I
the
was
same
still
time.
wondering how you tell the difference between the refracted one and the geometric one when you go to the beach. Or can you not tell the difference? In which case, how do you know there's a geometric one? which goes to Jedi's point. You can do the math.
What was
So this
Jedi's
is good
point?
because now that you know about this, you can
Jedi's
go on an
point.
Earth curve calculator. Sorry, go on, Jedi.
No, you're fine, dude. You're saying the same thing. So the point, Jedi's point, is based on the radius of the Earth and the height of the observer, to where tangent line drawn from your eyes to where it reaches the curvature of the Earth, the horizon, the things that disappear over. That calculation is based on radius and your eye height, 1.225 multiplied by the square root of the observer's eye height in feet, which gives you a horizon of 2.8 miles away for a 6-foot observer standing at the beach. Now, that's a geometric claim. It's just very simple geometry.
I think you
Right,
should
now-
write that out because that really doesn't work out the way you think it does.
Sorry, what, the globe claim?
Yeah, no, your math. Maybe write
My
it out.
math.
It isn't Jedi's math. It's your
It's
math.
not mine. Yeah, it's based on Earth curve calculators that you can Google online. Do it now, dude.
Go on Google, type in 1.22 miles times the square root of the observer's height in feet.
I'm so
and get
confused by what's going on right now. So I'm actually
You guys
confused by
trust
what's going
Google,
on
but
now.
not your government? Fucking weird.
Wow.
That's weird.
So not failed, and now you're going to
Yeah.
some bullshit.
Listen,
Yeah,
the
just
point
Google
is,
distance
on a
to
globe
horizon
model, there's
calculator.
calculations that are being made. So this is just basic globe math. It's not, nobody's making this math up. It's just based on how big the Earth is supposed to be as a globe. I don't understand the confusion, to be
It's
honest.
derived from the Pythagorean theorem. Here, I'm posting a citation from Brigham Young University astronomy department in text chat.
You believe in astronomy? Freaking retards in here.
Shit, that's a diffraction limit of the eye, same coefficient. Hold on.
Yeah, I think that would interest Portillo if you would explain that about the diffraction limit of the eye and the Earth curvature formula. That's interesting.
Now, the elephant in the room is the flat earthers in here explained it to you real simply, told you tests that were done. Why do they teach this in textbooks for the last, 2,000 plus years that this is evidence of a globe? When it's easy to demonstrate it's not. Why are you being misinformed? Maybe you should wonder about that. Or why is the evidence so weak? But if you type in, hey, proof the earth is a globe, this is the crap you're going to get. This garbage. And it is garbage. But want to know what's funny? If you look at maritime stuff, right, they don't claim this happens, right? Sailors, people that spend their life on the sea, don't claim this happens. It's the idiots on the shore that claim this happens, right? Landlubbers. They have a name for it in Marines, in marine parlance. It's called the offing, right? So it's the point at which you can't see a ship anymore. It starts to fade away and disappear, right? They know that typically when a ship appears to go over the horizon, it's actually being cut off on the bottom by an inferior mirage, right? There's like a surface layer of temperature and humidity that acts like a wall where you actually can't see the bottom. And one way to think about this is if there was a wall and there was a giraffe and you could see his head above the wall and he walked away from the wall, you'd slowly see his head sink to the wall and disappear. He didn't go over the curve. He just walked away and he's behind a wall. And from your perspective, it looks like he's sinking. It's just blocked by a marine layer. That's it. It's pretty freaking simple. I mean, if you want to know the freaking physics of it, it's a total internal reflection. But it doesn't need to get that complicated, right? It's really simple. We can demonstrate it on a flat surface. And once that happens, it's not exclusive to a globe, and that is not evidence of anything.
What's also true is the further you look out, the more stuff is happening in the distance in a smaller angular size. So if you have waves that are lapping up and you have a succession of waves off in the distance that they don't have to be very high, but they can maybe reach your height of eye, then you've got basically a path loss situation too. Because all those waves are going to be compressed into such a tiny field of angular size that it appears like a wall. And you can't differentiate between the waves in front of each other.
I've heard that one before. I don't think that would work.
Well, it does. I mean, when you think about how much information is being compressed due to perspective out in the distance, if you're looking out like tens of miles, and you're maybe 1.1 to 3 feet off the ground, right? And you've got these swells that lap up 1 to 3 feet off the ocean surface. You've got hundreds of them in like a 5-mile span, all between you and the distant object. It's going to appear as just one solid wall.
Yeah, but they're not going to be able to cover anything that is taller than them.
Well, right, but the bottom will be cut off.
Sure, the bottom will be cut off if the waves are as tall.
And the further the boat recedes, it'll be cut off from the bottom up, just because of that. And then I think a bigger deal is what Indio pointed out, the total internal reflection from peering through the oblique angle of the water's surface with the contact layer of the air. You got a lot of crap happening.
Yeah, sea spray.
What was that
so you get
last one?
salt, water, little particles. You get convection because of different temperatures, right? So you got basically they recognize this in this isn't really even mysterious. They talk about this in like scholarly nautical stuff, right? That between 1 to 2 feet above the sea, there's basically a layer, right? So if you had a 1 foot layer 1 mile away, it would block 10 miles away, and 100 feet, 100 miles away. Like all this stuff is known, but the globe is like the evidence for it is just such shit, dude. Like what they convinced you was almost infantile. Not saying you're infantile. I'm just saying like what they present is just horrible. It really is, because it never survives any type of inspection.
Yeah, let's just convince ourselves it's curvature and call it a day, so we don't have to look into this further.
Yeah, let's use the guys that thought vision was a ray of light projected out of the fucking eye. Let's use what they thought.
Pew pew.
They had no idea about perspective. They didn't know about any of that stuff. You did notice there's no like perspective drawings like prior to like 1400, right? They were like drawing like stick figures and shit.
I mean, they developed a pretty good understanding of perspective in the Renaissance.
Yeah, the 1400s. Da Vinci. Actually, Da Vinci's mentor is the one that pretty much developed it. And if you read the notebooks of Da Vinci, he actually put down. So he actually goes into it in specific detail about how vision works. But prior to that, nothing.
I don't think that's really relevant to
what perspective. What seeing?
I don't think that's relative to. I mean, I don't think that's relevant to whether we should believe.
You don't think it's relevant to how we see? But it's how we see, dude. We don't see from an orthographic side view, as Nathan would call it Muppet vision. We don't have Muppet vision. We're not seeing the world from the side, right? We're not actual projection looking at the sides of our heads. We see from inside the world, observer-centric, right? If you draw a perspective drawing, right? If you drew like a row of trees, they would get smaller as they approach the horizon, right?
Right.
But that stuff is idealized, right? That's like we have other variables. The air displaces
Sure.
stuff
Sure.
to a degree.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, to what degree, right? So you have two claims on the table. We see too far. Oh, that's refraction. You don't see far enough. Ships go over the horizon. You should see farther than that, right? Because the Earth is flat. Oh, who can actually demonstrate their claim? They can't demonstrate theirs. We can demonstrate ours. It's pretty simple. It's not even like a contest on this particular issue, as far as I'm concerned, because they say this is impossible on a flat Earth. Something should go away. It should just get smaller and smaller and smaller. You should be able to see Everest from freaking New York City. All these silly ass claims, but we can do a test where we go, okay, we're going to eliminate the variable that they say is causing all this, and we still see that after that variable's gone. And then they say, well, when you see too far, there's refraction. Okay, make your small scale test and demonstrate like something about what we see, and they can't do that.
Well, I'll read about this test. I'm getting a call. I've got to go, but I might be back. I don't know. I'll do some reading about refraction and stuff. Thanks for talking.
Well, you have to ask yourself, is science empirical? Are you going to base what you think based upon the empirical evidence or the stories, right? And that's awful. That's often the debate in here is really oscillating between the theory and the hypothesis and the words and the quote unquote explanations and the actual empirical evidence for those explanations. We just bounce back and forth between those things, right? And it seems like on our side, we present the empirical evidence, and on their side, it's just story time all the time.
Well, I mean, it's kind of. Well, I've got to go. Thanks for talking.
Okay. All right. Have a good one.
Welcome back anytime.
We have Dowsa in the chat who's upset at the Brigham Young University description of the diffraction limit formula.
Good. I hope he's upset.
He says if you don't widen the aperture and adjust the focal length, the horizon doesn't change position. Or wait, does he say it does change position? I don't fucking know. These globies are crazy. Hold on, what do you say? You can change the distance to the apparent horizon easily. However, this isn't observed. Yeah, you know, we just can't like zoom in on boats that appear to have disappeared into the horizon by changing the optics. Now, never happens, Daza. Never.
My word.
Yeah, and telephoto lenses, as you start to zoom out, their aperture closes. So you get a greater f-stop, which makes it actually more diffraction coming through the lens.
Did he say if you change aperture diameter, it doesn't change anything?
Yeah, he says we never observe.
That's bullshit. We have demonstrations of that too.
Yeah, that can easily be disproven if you just take a card and you poke a pinhole through it and then try looking through the pinhole. You'll see that you can see considerably less.
I mean, dude, and if you had a larger aperture, just from the larger diameter, you'd have a higher observer height. So even on the globe, you would see farther. Because now the calculation for where the horizon is supposed to be is farther away. Because your telescope aperture is bigger. So I have a 1 foot lens.
The center.
I have a 10 foot lens, right? So now the 10 foot lens is bigger than the 1 foot lens. It's 10 feet high. The other one's 1 feet high.
Obviously, right? You should be able to see farther because now the horizon just moved.
And this is exactly why that these scale demonstrations Globies do with basketballs and cameras for curvature are not scaled representations of reality, because they're taking an aperture that's a size that scales to the size of Earth's moon.
Yeah, I know, man. Dude, those are the ones that really irritate me too, man. Because they actually convince people. Oh, this is why they look different. Oh, so you're going to take a giant, basically equivalent to 1,000-kilometer camera lens and compare it to some, Neil Armstrong with his little pinhole freaking camera relative to the size of the Earth, right? And you're going to compare those, dude. Come on, dude. Come on.
And then you got to wonder, like, knowing what they know, they have to know that they're pulling camera tricks on people. Knowing what they know, they have to know that they know this isn't a fair scaled representation, and that they're just trolling people out there with this. I mean, and if they don't know, then they have cogged this so bad that it's impacting their thinking. And if this is what they do for a living, it's impacting what they do professionally.
But Daza, just so you know, Too Short demonstrated this years ago. At this point, took two different cameras, two different apertures. There was a light at the end of a hall. The one with the larger aperture, or the larger diameter lens, you could see the light, and the other one you couldn't. Both same camera height, all that stuff. So it's been demonstrated. It's not like.
Hey, does anyone want to play Blocks.io?
Silence is deafening, huh?
But I agree with you, Amish. They gotta know. It's hard for me to believe that they don't know that what they're doing is deceptive, and that's being charitable. Calling it deceptive is being charitable. Calling it an outright lie is probably more accurate.
Yeah, they're outright liars. Yep. It's what I've come to conclude. Like soundly, I mean, all of these people, they know better. They know exactly what they're doing. They have to. I mean, these are intentional camera tricks. They're playing with subject distance and focal lengths, f-stops, apertures, and everything. And they're altering the angular relationships of objects in order to present curvature that isn't there.
Yeah, they like to do things like not center, like their measurement in the camera, right? So they don't put it in the center of the frame, and like so they're looking at it from the side, and they go, "Look, the mountain drop." Yeah, no shit, dude, your camera's tipped. That don't matter. Yeah, okay, get a camera.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, tip the camera, squish the frame a little bit. There you go.
Yeah, take 1,000 photos and pick the one you want.
That sounds like a Soundly trick.
It's exactly what his trick is. How many images do you think he's taking a Pontchartrain? I bet he's taking 100,000 pictures.
Well, wasn't his directory exposed in a video? Like, didn't somebody point that out?
Yeah, I was watching the live stream and I saw him. He's like, I got to find it in my folders. And he starts going, he had a MacBook. Because, I'm an IT, so I know, like, the folder structures and shit. And the way MacBook displays them, it shows, like, it said, like, December 1st, December 2nd, December 3rd, December 4th. That's how I actually have a graphic. That's how I found out the day he took the pictures of the power lines, because he went in the folder with the date on it. But he had every day, because he had to go in each folder. So he checked like December 9th, December 10th, December 12th, December 20th, right? So he's checking all these dates, and each folder had hundreds of pictures in it. But he has to search through thousands of pictures to find one. That proves the Earth's the globe. What do all the other ones do then?
Well, those were from Industrial Light and Magic. Those were all the proof pictures that went into the dustbin.
I mean, people throw the cherry picking fallacy around like too much and use it wrong, but that is literally the definition of cherry picking.
You know, Indio, this kind of reminds me too of the psychology of a criminal who's an expositionist and loves to linger around the crime scene because he wants to see the police scramble and struggle to figure out how the crime was done. Like Dexter or something. These guys set up these elaborate camera tricks and they just love watching flat earthers try to figure it out. And they probably also love watching their fans readily accept these images as truth because it validates how good their camera trickery is. You know, and then we expose them and they get pissed off and they don't want to talk to us.
Well, their fans never fact check them. Never.
Nope. Yeah, like I said, I saw one video where they were showing the planes landing at the airport and whatever. And then, but if you look on Google Maps from where they were viewing from and where the airport was, there was quite a few buildings in between them two, so you could never see them land. The buildings got in the way.
Buildings are Earth curve now, dude.
Yep. Part of the Earth curve. They spontaneously arose from the Earth.
Check it out, Indio. Kalam Sagan thinks he's got some kind of win. Is that the episode where Peterson spurged out and I had to kick his ass out of here for being a doormat?
Yo, Peterson actually posted me wrecking him, dude. I haven't listened to it. I wonder if he edited anything out, dude. That dude got jarred, man. Like, why would he post that?
But the speed is so fast
Because he
that this
cut
guy
it
even
short.
has to run for
You didn't see right to the end of it. That's why. He cut out
Did
his
he?
spiral out. Yeah.
Specific models of RC cars
What is it?
may
Right
need
at
to
the end, you
touch
can
speed
believe whatever you
over
want to believe, or something like
290
that.
millimeters
And that's
per
where he
hour.
cut
And
it.
just watch how quickly
He didn't show his spin out.
That's the last thing he said before he left was you can believe whatever you want to believe.
All right, must have been a different episode then. When I caught him the other day, he had an absolute meltdown. There's a few people that kicked him around, and I booted him out because he's a muppet.
I'm reading the comments, dude. They're dumber than he is.
Made ice cream on the job site with 8 cans and some.
Don't include the comments. Dude, this is good shit, man.
Cocoa powder. Not only is this stuff deadly, but it'll send you to the order. Next, we made electrician's mess. I used my Klein wire strippers to cut little pieces of licorice and didn't bother to clean any of it up. Then I threw down a few wire nuts and some other random trash. It's a different contractor, but I used to think so this flavor was really easy. And the final flavor, high base and caffeine. Sour Patch Kids, Pop Rocks, Mountain Dew, and 5 Hour. You're going to want to see how this one turned out in its life. We fired up the cement mixer, added in the cans, a couple 100 pounds of ice, and some rocks. This made a crazy rocket. About later, we started out the feed. These turned out amazing. And my favorite was the high base and caffeine. Let us know in the comments, what construction flavor should we make next? We just made ice cream on the
Bruh.